The Trojan War. It's a story about Greek heroes, love, and great tragedy. It has a little bit of something for everyone. I think you'll enjoy it. Let's start off with the city-state of Sparta. Sparta is ruled by King Tyndareus and his wife Leda. Leda is said to be so beautiful that she kind of catches the eye of Zeus. And Zeus comes down in the form of a swan and seduces Leah. And from this, Leda gives birth to an egg. In the egg are 4 children. 2 are from King Tyndareus, that is Clytemnestra and Castor, and 2 are from Zeus, Helen and Polydeuces. Now, Helen, because she is the daughter of Zeus, is said to be so beautiful that no man in the world can resist her. After the birth of the egg, it is also foretold, or legend has it, that Leda kills herself. In the city-state of Mycenae, which is another Greek city-state, we have Agamemnon as its high king from the house of Atreus. Agamemnon will be the leader in the war against Troy. He has a little brother named Menelaus. Agamemnon marries Clytemnestra, who is Helen's sister, and they have a child named Iphigenia. Now there's this contest for Helen's hand, and Menelaus wins this contest, and he's allowed to marry her. And because it was a contest, all the losers, which were all the other Greek kings, had to swear an oath to protect Helen's husband. They kind of knew that whoever got stuck with Helen was going to end up with their hands full. So they agree to go to war if anyone takes Helen. So it's interesting here, just as a side note, that Agamemnon and Menelaus aren't just brothers, but brother-in-laws. And Clytemnestra and Helen just aren't sisters, they're sister-in-laws. Now, across the Aegean Sea is the city-state of Troy. In ancient times, it was called Ilium. King Priam and Queen Hecuba rule Troy, and they have 4 children that are important to our story. Hector is the oldest and said to be a brave Trojan, and Homer in the Iliad portrays him as a great warrior. Cassandra can see the future. Now, Cassandra spurns Apollo's love, and he curses her. Now, it sounds like seeing the future is a good thing, so how could that be a curse? Well, the curse is this, that no one will believe what Cassandra says. So she's telling them the truth about what will happen in the future, but no one will believe her. And then we have Paris, who will lead the charge in the Trojan War, and Polyxena. Our story actually doesn't begin in the Greek city-states or in Troy. It begins on Mount Olympus. Strife wasn't invited to the wedding of Thetis, and she's so angry by this that she creates this golden apple. And on the golden apple, she inscribes on it, "To the fairest," and she throws it into the wedding feast. Well, immediately, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite start squabbling over, "This is my apple, no, it's my apple, no, it's my apple." And they go to Zeus and demand him to judge who's the most fairest. Well, Zeus is no fool. He's not having any part of this. So he goes and finds a mortal who is said to be fair. And that mortal is Paris. And he's asked to judge the beauty contest. And Paris agrees. So the 3 goddesses automatically try to bribe him. Hera offers him great wealth and a happy home. Athena offers him great wisdom in battle. And Aphrodite offers him the love of the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen. Well, Paris picks Helen, and Aphrodite promises Paris that he will have Helen's love. And now that because he picked Aphrodite to win Helen's love, Hera and Athena are going to not be so happy with him and cause problems along the way. Well, Paris is sent to Sparta by his father to see if the Greeks are getting together to go to war against Troy, not for Helen, of course, but for the trade routes. Troy is said to be so rich from the trade routes that their walls are laden with gold. And so Paris is sent on this fact-finding mission, and there he meets Helen. And because he's promised Helen by Aphrodite, he takes Helen back with him to Troy. And Menelaus is so outraged by this. First of all, Paris broke the law of Zeus, doing something wrong as a guest in his house, and he stole his wife. that he enacts the oath, and now all the Greek kings must unite to get her back, even if they don't want to. It's said that Odysseus so didn't want to go to war that he tried to plow his fields under and act crazy, but they did swear this oath, so they do all have to go to get her back. Well, they all unite on the beach, and they're ready to sail to Troy to get Helen back, but there's no wind. And they have to find out. So they ask Calchas the seer, why is there no wind? And he tells them that Artemis is mad at Agamemnon and demands the sacrifice of his daughter Iphigenia to get the wind. And Agamemnon agrees to this, and he kills his daughter. That's how much he really wants the trade routes. After 10 years of war, the Iliad, the story, the epic story that Homer tells, begins. Homer thinks he's telling this tale to ancient Greeks. He thinks you know the backstory up to this point. So the Iliad actually begins in the 10th year of war. Now, they have been trying to get inside the walls of Troy. They've been unsuccessful. They've been raising up and down the fields, the countryside, I mean, and looting it and dividing up the money and the women as prizes. Achilles received a prize of Briseis, and Agamemnon received the prize of Chryses. Now, Chryses was the daughter of a priest of Apollo, and the priest of Apollo comes and begs for his daughter back. Agamemnon spurs the priest. Apollo sends a great plague down among the Greeks, and so Agamemnon has to return Chryses to stop the plague. He does this, but he demands a replacement prize, and so he takes Achilles' prize of Briseis. This makes Achilles so angry, and this is really what the Iliad is all about, Achilles' anger from beginning to end, that he withdraws from the war. And he stays withdrawn from the war until his best friend and cousin Patroclus is killed. Hera and Athena interfere, and they convince Patroclus to steal Achilles' armor, dress up in it, and pretend he's Achilles and lead the Greeks out into war. And Patroclus does that, but Hector ends up killing Patroclus. Now, with the death of Patroclus, Achilles re-enters the war to avenge his death, and he does. He ends up killing Hector, tying Hector's body to the back of his chariot and running it around dragging it around the walls of Troy for 10 days until King Priam comes and begs for his son's body back. He offers him Polyxena. Achilles accepts the offer. Polyxena tricks Achilles into meeting him, and Paris is there waiting, and he shoots an arrow that hits Achilles in his heel, and he is killed. Now, there's a fight for Achilles' armor. Ajax ends up killing himself over it because he loses the contest. All the Greek heroes are dropping off now one by one, so there has to be a plan. To end the war, Odysseus comes with the plan with a Trojan horse. The Trojans hide inside the horse. They make the Trojans think that they've sailed away, and at night they sneak out of the Trojan horse and they destroy Troy. And they pretty much kill everyone and enslave the rest. Helen is reunited to Menelaus, and they set sail back home for Sparta. It's said that it takes them 8 years to get there. Agamemnon goes back to Mycenae, where Clytemnestra ends up killing him to avenge Iphigenia's death. And Odysseus tries to make it home, but it takes him 10 years to get home, and that starts Homer's second epic tale called the Odyssey. And that is a recap of the Trojan War, and we will be going into it in more detail in class with a play, with a movie, and actually reading the first book of the Iliad.